Welcome to the TST podcast. We're queer, you're here. I'm Kayla.
And I'm Kris. And today we are going to talk about, in this podcast, as we're outside exploring the woods, we're going to talk about being at school and being a child, basically.
Yes.
Yeah?
So, what was childhood like for you then?
Me?
You little menace.
I was a menace. I don't know, like, when I was at school, like, I used to do all this stuff, like, go out and explore. That's why I thought, like, today we could do it in the woods. And,
yeah.
You know? Like, I used to go exploring. Like, outside of school, I was alright. Like, at school, I was an absolute menace. Get excluded all the time, like, do stupid stuff. Like, you wouldn't expect me to be like this. If you met me at school, you wouldn't expect me to be like this.
Tell them what you did with the year 7s.
Oh, what, the year 7s?
Yeah.
Well, I used to do a lot for the year 7s. I mean, it's funny though. Like, the things I used to do to the year 7s used to happen to me when I was in year 7.
Getting your payback.
Yeah. So, like, I used to, like, wait for the year 7s to, like, go buy lunch and just, like, swipe by and just, like, yeah, thanks, I'm having that bacon roll. And so bad.
I would have hated you as a kid.
And it's like, you know what I think is really funny? Is, like, I look back on it and I'm like, why? Why was I even like that?
Yeah.
Like, why did I do them things?
Just being an absolute nuisance.
Like, I used to rob people's food. I used to, like, chuck yogurts across the snack hall. I used to, like, do all sorts of, like, menacery.
Yeah, no, I'd have hated you at school.
Yeah. The best thing was, like, you know when you, like, take the year 7's ball and kick it over the fence?
Just a little shit.
I was a absolute little shit. But, like, other than school, like, I was a menace at school, but, like, in class I was so good. Like, in class I was always, like, I used to get, like, handwriting awards because I had a really neat handwriting.
Yeah.
And, like, I used to just, like, I was such a little goody two-shoes in class. And as soon as you get out of class, I was a menace.
Just, yeah.
But then it's weird because, like, my friend group I was in, like, we're all just, like, the popular boys. But, like, no one used to know. Like, I used to, like, sneak out and, like, go smoke, like, weed and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, on the field and stuff. And I was like, what the hell? I used to, like, sneak out the gate and stuff and, like, go and do all that crap. Like, but I was on my own.
Yeah.
And then when I on, like, break times and stuff, I was, like, a menace. I used to do menacery things.
No, yeah, I'd hated you.
But then, like, outside of school, this is, like, I used to go do this stuff, like, go and explore woods and, like, I used to pick up sticks and just start whacking, like, stinging nettles and all sorts, like, thinking I was some sort of, like, knight or something. And it also, like, reminds me of, like, when I used to go to, like, scouts and stuff. We used to, like, camp in the woods and, like, we would, like, play games in the woods and it was just, like, awesome.
Yeah.
And that's why, like, I thought, like, today we could, like, do it outside in the woods or, like, do it in the park or something.
Yeah.
But that was, like, sort of my...
So I was the complete contrast of all of that. I am extraordinarily neurodivergent.
Yeah.
So in mainstream classes, I struggled severely because a lot of the times, like, surprisingly, I was really good in English. And it's like, read in between the lines, read the context. Like, in real life, I can't do that. It's like, I take everything at face value. But in a book, it's like, yeah, no, I can absolutely understand what they mean by saying this. But then, like, outside of lessons, I was like, sit by myself in the corner, don't interact with anybody, like, just fully on my own. I had my little group of friends that I was with, and that was it. And outside of school, like, I just didn't leave the house. Like, I never left the house.
Something that's crazy, like, because you're, like, complete opposite at school. Like, how, like, complete opposites at school can, like, then, like, become, like, such good friends.
Yeah.
Like me and you.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy.
It's wild. It's why, like, I hate the whole thing. You know, when, like, you're at school and it's like, okay, now pick your university, choose your career, da-da-da-da. Because, like, who I am now versus who I was at 16, extremely different people.
No, like...
So how was 16-year-old me supposed to map out the rest of my life for now? Because...
It's crazy.
Yeah.
What else do you used to do at school?
I used to spend a lot of time in the library, and it wasn't to read or anything. It was purely because of how quiet it was. So I used to get so overwhelmed with, like, because our school was just a big glass box, and then they just had these big fluorescent lights on the ceilings. So it was so bright and so loud and so obnoxiously annoying all of the time that I used to just run and hide into the library for hours on end. Like I would skip classes.
So your school was like just a glass dome.
Yeah.
See, my school was known as like Cardboard City. So all the walls were made out of cardboard. You just literally put your fucking head through it.
Oh my god.
And people used to punch the walls, put your fucking face through the walls.
Yeah.
Crap.
No. Why?
So it's just made out of cardboard with lights and a couple of doors.
Yeah. No. Ours was just a big greenhouse.
Going like onto like the whole like neurodivergent thing at school, like did you find, Jay, like you was good at, like I feel like for me I was good at English and science, but I wasn't good at maths.
Yeah,
I feel like there's always one subject that you'd really
maths. I was terrible, terrible
like
at maths. Was my worst grade out of everything.
But like in English and like science, like I was amazing at it.
Yeah,
and everything else I was amazing at, but I just couldn't get maths.
Yeah,
and I think maybe that has something to do with the whole ADHD thing. But I don't know.
No. So like English, I was extremely good at. Like religious studies, I got a bad grade in that because I don't believe in organized religion, and I would often argue with the teacher who practiced Christianity. I would often sit and argue with him over why I don't believe in it, and he would argue with me about why I'm wrong, and I pretty much failed that class. Because I would always argue my point of everyone has the right to religious expression and they can believe whatever they want, but I don't subscribe to it, so what they believe in, I don't have to follow.
I feel like when we were kids though, like we were so like argumentative and we always felt like we're right.
Yeah.
We're fucking right.
Always. Like, I had such a sense of like justice. Like if I didn't think something was right, I would argue it, but that would be the hill that I die on. I would argue it into oblivion.
It'd be nice to know if any of you guys with like neurodivergency had the same issue with like the either like maths, science or English, but you was good at two, but then you was crap at the other. Because like I feel like such a common thing with people that have ADHD and like autism and stuff like that. Like I feel like there's always that one subject out of the 3 subjects that you're crap at. So it'd be nice to know if you guys have that.
Yeah.
So comment down below.
Yeah, I was good at English and science, terrible at maths, and then although I wasn't good at it, I loved art. I like my teacher would always feel like bad about giving me a negative grade because obviously it wasn't good, but I enjoyed it, and it was like at the ripe old age of like 11. I was arguing the point of like you don't need to monetize everything. No. You don't need to be good at something to enjoy it.
No.
That was always my argument in that lesson was if you graded me on my enthusiasm alone, I would be a AA star student. Like
it's like when I say to you, like even now, like when I say to you like about singing and stuff, like just because you like don't think you're necessarily good at it, still go and do it and enjoy it.
And it's like I can't dance and I can't sing, but the two of my favourite things to do in the world, so I always do them.
I mean, you taught me how to Vogue. So.
Yeah, exactly. Like yesterday, I was out on a car ride with a friend. We genuinely spent about 2.5 hours with the volume up on full blast in the car. Just like my throat was sore after from just singing.
Yeah, but I feel like that's what it's about. Like just because you like not necessarily think you're good at it,
exactly.
I think you should just do it to be happy.
Yeah. Not everything needs to be monetized, and not everything needs to be studied, trained, and developed to be monetized. No. You can just sing because you like to sing. You don't have to be good at it. You don't have to find the note. You don't have to hit the note. So I'm so off key and I'm so out of tune. Yeah, I will sing with my full chest because it is what I enjoy doing.
I think like at school as well, when you said the whole like there's that you liked art, but like you didn't necessarily think you was good at it. I was sort of the same. Like I think like I've really enjoyed music, but you know like year 7 and year 8 where you don't pick your like what things you do. Like I was doing obviously like music and like stuff, and I like really enjoyed music.
Yeah.
But like why did like now thinking about it, I probably should have picked music because I would have done really well in it.
Yeah.
Because like when I left school, I started doing music.
Yeah.
Obviously I've like written my own songs and stuff. So like why didn't I look back at it, like why did I not just do that?
Yeah.
It's silly. But like I can feel like where you come from with that.
It's like with like DT, I really enjoyed making things. Like the when you made like the little wooden boxes and stuff and whatever. I loved all of that. And although I didn't end up going and pursuing that as a hobby or a career, a lot of the content that I enjoy watching online is home renovations and interior design and fashion and makeup. And it's like, All of those creative things that there was an interest when I was a child are still very much a strong, firm interest now as a grown adult.
See, that's what I think. Like, I feel like I wish I did like more artsy things because, like, now, like you said, like now I feel like I'm so creative and so like I like music and I like being creative. I like artsy things. Like, look at my book journal. Like, look at my room, for example. Like, it's just so like creative.
So like when you see my room, it's like the entire room, ceiling and the door is all green, and then it's like pink curtains, and then there's like multicolored bedspread, and it's like I went through that phase like every teenager does, where everything was white and grey because that's what was normal and expected. And then I kind of got into my 20s, and I was like, I don't actually care anymore. And now my room is just this amalgamation of if a gay, a goth, and a fairy went to a bar and had a conversation. That is what my bedroom encompasses, and it's my favorite place in the world. It's like when I get my own home, like it's gonna like green living room, orange bedroom, blue bathroom, pink kitchen. Like it's gonna be Rainbow. An explosion of color and design, because that's what brings me joy.
I know. I think like with the whole school thing, like the subjects you picked and like the things you did at school, like I did like engineering and like PE and stuff. Like after school, I did sort of do that.
Yeah.
But like at the same time, like I'm not doing that.
No.
So it's like, does it really matter what you choose at school? Because a lot of the time you do something completely different to what you actually did at school.
Yeah, exactly. And again, with that self-righteousness, the sense of justice that I had as a child, if I didn't enjoy something, I didn't do it. So the likes of PE, you are not going to make me run around a field. That is not happening. Like, go and find a uniform in lost property. I'm not wearing someone else's dirty clothes.
No.
You'll get a detention. I'm not staying for the detention. You are not punishing me because I don't want to run around a field in -5 temperatures whilst you stand there with your coffee in a flask and your big thick coat and your hat on. That's not happening. That is not fair.
No, it's not.
So it's not happening. So like me and a couple of friends used to just sneak into the woods down the back of the school and go for a cigarette.
Yeah,
because like that's
boring,
yeah. It's like I'm not going to be made to do something that I don't want to do. And that's followed me into adulthood. I've lost jobs over my sense of justice. I have had countless arguments with management and supervisors and superiors over just because you are my senior here does not mean you have a level of authority that can dictate my life. Superiority does not dictate authority. So just because you get paid more than me and you've got a fun little title on your badge doesn't mean you get to control me as a person, my way of working. As long as I'm doing the job, you don't need to worry.
No, that's true.
And it's incredibly frustrating when a lot of people don't view the world like that, because most people are neurotypical, so they don't see it from that point of view, and it's incredibly frustrating.
Yeah, but then you have to like think. You got to think of it a different way, like, because not everyone's the same as like us.
No, and that's the thing with being neurodivergent is I can't think any other way because I've never thought any other way before. I see everything in black and white. Most of the world lives in the grey area that I just don't understand. So when it came to education, friendships, relationships, whatever it is, everything seems to live in the grey area, and I can only understand the black and white. So it is an incredibly frustrating place to be most of the time.
How many times did you like have like detention and shit at school? And like, how many times did you like get detention, get excluded, or anything like that? Did you have? We used to have a isolation. As well. Did you have isolation?
I was put into isolation once for my argumentative behaviour. I had detention a handful of times, but our school, we used to have to use swipe cards to scan in and out of the building. So they had like these bollard things that you had to scan your card to open. And oftentimes, like the principal or the vice principal would be stood there to try and catch students who were trying to leave without doing detention. And the amount of arguments I would have with them at the front of the school, because I don't believe I was in the wrong. I'm not being forced to stay. And if you held me against my will, by definition of law, it is kidnapping. and I will report you. And this is coming from like a 12-year-old.
How did you deal with that stuff? Because like I just thought it was funny. So I used to just go in detention. I thought it was funny when I got detention.
No, I refused to go.
Like
I would just argue with them.
But the thing is, for me, like I would never be like getting detention because of like classes and stuff. I'd get in detention because I was like naughty outside of classes.
Yeah.
And then like I've been put in isolation before. Like I remember I told you when I like had a fight with my brother.
Yeah.
And like I beat my brother up, and I got like excluded for that. But got put in isolation the whole day for that.
Yeah.
Because they thought like I was just going to be a danger to like everyone else.
Yeah.
I was beating because I beat my brother up. You know that was over. Because I wanted to use his scooter on the way home, so I could like scooter home. Yeah, literally, and I beat him up because he was running away with me with the scooter.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, so I got excluded for that. I remember I got excluded for like hopscotching across like the snack hall tables. That was fun though. The dinner ladies were like trying to grab my feet and like, trying to grab me and stuff. It was fun.
Oh my god. I remember there was one time I was given detention by a substitute teacher because she was incredibly rude and she had said something that was wrong and I corrected her on it and she didn't like being corrected by a child, so she tried to put me in detention, and I had an argument. I was so frustrated I ended up crying, arguing with the assistant head over the fact of I do not belong in detention because I have done nothing wrong. I wasn't misbehaving. I wasn't rude. I wasn't swearing. I didn't break any of the school's code of conduct. I didn't, wasn't wearing the wrong uniform. I'd done nothing like that. I'd simply corrected something that somebody was wrong about that I knew
was
right.
Yeah, but that's what the teachers are like. But also, like, I don't know, like they think they're right, don't they?
Yeah.
They're a teacher, but you can't. I just thought it was all funny.
Yeah.
Like when they got mad and stuff, I was just like, just fucking laugh. I'd laugh.
Yeah, no. See, I was just incredibly frustrated.
That's the only thing I like probably got like in trouble with in class was like laughing at teachers for being dumb.
Yeah.
Or like doing something stupid, like when they get angry and they start like going mad. I'm just sitting there laughing.
Yeah.
Like, it's just funny. I remember I remember the worst thing that ever happened to me at school, like with the whole like detention and stuff. Yeah, like because obviously like my friends group was like all boys.
Yeah.
So like we were naughty. We were like
the lads' behaviour.
Yeah, we were like the popular naughty group.
Yeah.
So like we used to do like crazy things like run down like the corridors of like the staff room corridor and stuff, and like set fire alarms off and crap like that. And then remember we was that naughty that they brought in these like people from like Ofsted like, to come and like check our behaviour. And this guy like did like this whole like investigation and like just to see how good we were and like bad and stuff. We got that bad that he sat us all in this like room and said, "I'm gonna flip a coin. And if it lands on heads, you get to stay. If it lands on tails, you're all permanently excluded."
Oh my goodness.
From this school. Obviously, like I feel like that was just a trick to like say like, look, this is real now.
Yeah.
So like I feel like that was a trick because obviously it landed on heads, so we all stayed. But I think that was a trick to say like, look, stop doing this.
Yeah.
And then I think like after that, I think we like still were like stupid and stuff. I feel like we toned it down.
Not as bad.
But like I remember like there was lads in there like crying their eyes out. I was just laughing. I was like, realise you ain't gonna say. Like neurodivergent me was like, you do realise if I actually thought into it, like they can't get rid of you. They're just doing this to like scare us so we don't do anything anymore.
Like bypassed the system in your own head.
Yeah, like you can't like get rid of that many people just because we're naughty.
Yeah. Although I had quite a unique experience towards the end of school because I came out as trans at 13.
Oh yeah.
And I used to get a lot of help from, I can't remember if she was like the vice principal, just like like the head of year kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I used to spend a lot of time like sat in the office with her, and I had the very unique experience of prom.
I can go prom.
The school allowed me to go to prom.
I got banned from prom.
Parents of other students said if I went to prom and I showed up in a dress, their child would not be allowed to go to prom.
What?
Yeah. So I had to make the decision to not go to prom because that would have just unleashed hell with everybody. I had like the full support of all of my teachers, and the school themselves had said and formally written back that I would be allowed to attend prom in whatever I chose to wear.
Yeah.
But so many parents were so upset with that their kids were coming to me during the day at school and threatening me, saying that if I showed up to prom and I was in a dress, their parents would take them home and they wouldn't be allowed to go to prom. So I never went to prom. I didn't have a prom experience.
I got banned from prom. Yeah. Apparently I was like the naughtiest kid in the school or something.
That doesn't surprise me, hearing all these stories.
Yeah, but I wasn't that bad. I don't think I should have got banned from prom.
I mean...
Yeah, but I wasn't that bad. Like, I was actually good in class. Like, yeah, outside of class I wasn't.
Exactly. Prom was always treated as the reward.
I weren't going to, like, kick off at prom. I wasn't going to, like, do anything with prom like that. I mean, I probably would have pissed about.
Exactly, and that's what they were concerned about.
But I don't know, I'm not really bothered about that stuff. Like, I'm so... like, I think everything I did at school was because of that whole, like, ADHD thing.
Yeah.
And, like, I think that's what explains the whole, like, reason why I was... But, like, I'm not really bothered anymore.
No. Whereas I have the opposite mindset. I was like, I do feel sad about the fact that I missed out on prom.
No, I'm not bothered.
Because if I was as self-assured and as confident as I am now, back then, I would have shown up to prom in my dress. And if those kids' parents took them out, then tough.
That's their problem.
That's their problem. That's their fault. Where, because I was so concerned about upsetting other people, I've been a chronic people pleaser since childhood. So I was so worried about them having a bad time that I just didn't go. Yeah, whereas now I feel sorry for younger me for missing out on that. Because like I've said before, I am the way I am now because I want to be the person younger me needed when they were younger. And who I am now would have told younger me to put that dress on, do your makeup, show up, and however anybody else reacts is up to them. That is not your fault, nor is it your problem.
It's true.
And that is something, like, I would love as an adult now, you know how people do these, like, they throw house parties, but it's, like, themed around, you know, like, people, mostly COVID, they have their prom, like, outside of school, like, after the fact, like, because they didn't get to experience, they rent out a hall and they do prom with all of their classmates who missed it. I would love to do something like that now as an adult.
Yeah, but, like...
and I can legally drink at this one, so...
Yeah, it's true. yeah, but people were drinking at these parties anyway.
But I'm saying I can legally drink at this one.
Yeah, but fuck it, we're just illegally drink.
Sums up my entire teen years. I didn't go prom,
but I did after school go to loads of parties, so I think that made up for it. But,
yeah.
But yeah, I was a menace at school, and you was like a goody two shoes.
Like, yeah. Well, semi goody two shoes who was self-righteous, but you know, I wasn't badly behaved.
But yeah.
Because my earliest memory from like school and childhood is, this tells you how terribly neurodivergent I am. I had this group of kids at school who used to bully me, but I had no friends in primary school. So oftentimes they would invite me to hang out with them and pretend to be my friend that day. And I would get myself, like, you know, dressed and ready, like, oh, Mum, I'm going out with friends today. Yay, I'm excited. I would go to wherever they said to meet them. And I would stand there for 2, 3, 4 hours, waiting and waiting, just thinking,
did you not think,
oh, they're running late. Oh, they're behind. No, because I just thought, oh, they're running late. They'll be here. Oh, they must have got caught up with something. They'll be here.
How many times did they do it to you?
About 10 times.
Do you not like get to the point where you're just like, these aren't my friends anymore?
No, it got to the point where my mum had to start telling me, no, you're not going.
Yeah, because
they would never show up, but they would get my hopes up every single time, thinking, no, this is it. This is the time they're going to be my friends. This is the time we're going to hang out. Well, and they just never ever did.
At least you've got friends now.
Yeah.
Fuck school.
Exactly.
I can't really, but I enjoyed school, but then again, I'm not really that shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, menace and like semi goody two shoes.
Exactly. That I would have hated you at school. We would have had arguments on the daily about your behaviour.
Yeah, probably because I was actually a twit.
Yeah, but you would have gotten on my last nerve pretty quick.
Yeah, I was really bad at school. Although I think I was good at lessons.
Yeah.
I enjoyed lessons, but then I just pissed about outside lessons. So
Yeah.
But yeah, the game is we choose 3 people. It can be celebrities, it can be crushes, it can be anyone really, and we choose whether we want to be them, be inside them, or them be inside us. So the 3 B's. B, 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 B.
B, 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 B.
So who got first?
So the first one, Yungblud.
Oh yes, he straight up he can be inside me.
Yeah.
He's so hot. I really like him. Like, I've not really listened to his music much, but I like him as a person. Like, he's so like nice, and he's so like just down with his people.
Yeah.
He's so down with his fans.
He's so open
like
with everything.
He loves his fans. Like, if you're Yungblud, if you're in the Yungblud fan base, like,
yeah,
you are getting treated like
family.
Yeah, because he like. You've seen the whole thing of like his like tickets to go to his like festivals.
Yeah,
and
they are
like,
so affordable.
Yeah, because he believes that people should have that space to go to.
Yeah.
And enjoy his music. So like, I like him, but he's also gorgeous.
Yeah.
He's so hot.
Yeah.
Like, he can be inside me.
So I'm gonna switch up. I'd be inside him. I would love to top that
Yeah,
man.
but you know what the next ones are. I don't. Okay, yeah. So yeah.
Okay, so then we have.
Oh my god! I recently just followed
Finster.
Yeah. He, them, they.
All pronouns.
All pronouns.
Yeah.
So like, I just recently followed them, and oh my god, they're hot.
They're incredibly.
So
I've been obsessed with them for, I want to say, maybe 4 years now. 5 years.
For me, like, I think I would be them.
Yeah.
Because like, I love the whole like feminine thing, but like still like being a girl, but like not changing everything about yourself.
So I've seen a quote on Twitter that like, I want to get put on a t-shirt. It was like, I'm a woman in the same way that a twink would be a woman.
Yeah.
And like, I relate.
Yeah, like I would be Finster. 100%,
yeah.
Because like, I just feel like the whole vibe and the whole like being a woman, but like not completely changing yourself just to be a woman.
Yeah.
Like the voice and everything, like still having that masculine voice, but you're basically a woman.
Yeah.
Like, I love that vibe.
Yeah, I totally get that. I'd let them be inside me.
Yeah,
like,
fair.
Finster could top. And then the last one, I'm not sure if you'll know this woman, but I have been obsessed with her since childhood. Her name is Gigi Gorgeous.
Oh, wait.
She's a trans woman who I've
seen.
I used to watch her on makeup and like lifestyles and stuff.
Yeah, I've seen her on. Is she on like a TV program or something?
No, it's just online stuff.
I think I've seen her face before, but yeah, I would let her be inside. Oh no, I'd be inside her.
Yeah, no, because I've followed her like even before she transitioned, which was in like 2014. So I have followed this woman for a very long time, so I absolutely would be her.
Yeah,
she has a special place in my heart.
Yeah, for you, it's like
she helped a lot because she came out at a similar time that I came out. And although she was much older than me and had the financial means to do facial feminization surgery and all of that, she was just such a inspiration for clarity.
Yeah.
For me, like, it was just nice to have somebody who was going through it in the same way that I was going through it, but just at a different stage. You know, it was later on in her life. She was on HRT before I was even able to start HRT. So it was just nice to see what this could become.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would be her always.
Fair.
Stunning woman, like.
Yeah.
Just gorgeous.
I think.
And fun fact, she is married to a trans man.
That's awesome. I love that. I love like trans couples that are both trans.
Yeah. Dream if that's what you've always wanted.
Yeah. It's good. But yeah, we'll leave the names in a description. And you can comment your choices, which would be nice to see.
Yeah.
I like these games. I like this game because, like, when we like alternate the picking, like, I don't know what you're gonna pick.
No.
And like, you know what you're gonna pick, so you already know what your answers are.
Yeah.
Like, it's nice to see what the other person's answer is gonna be.
Yeah.
But yeah. Go to the section called
Let's get ready to ramble.
It's my go today.
Yes.
So,
what do you want to ramble about today?
all I see on TikTok at the minute is like cyclists and like crashes with cyclists. So like, there's that video going around at the minute. I keep seeing it, and it's at like, is it called like, I think it's called like Cyclist Mike or something.
Mm-hmm.
And like, he's going round the roundabout like he's a car.
Yeah.
And then he's like, and he gets hit by this car, comes on, and he's like complaining about how like it's his right of way. Why are you in the middle of the roundabout on a bicycle, acting like you're a car? You're gonna get hit. Are you silly?
Yeah, some cyclists are so self-righteous with it. Like it's almost it's like a personality trait for them.
And I keep seeing it, like it's like, especially in London, like obviously you've got cycle lanes. And like you get these cyclists that are like just so like up their own arse.
Yeah,
and, like,
it's like quite literally stay in your lane.
Like not in like just like have a bit of fun as well. Like there's this guy saying like, oh, we're gonna race each other, and he was laughing at the cyclists. And yeah, racing each other. Like he's on a bike, I think. He's on a motorbike. Yeah. And the cyclist was like, "What are you laughing at? Like, what are you laughing at? Like, it's just not that chill deep. Out." Honestly, but then like a lot of it is like crashes and stuff. And like, don't get me wrong, some of it is so funny. Like some of it like you get a cyclist and they just like go over the top of the car, and I'm like, you could have avoided that. Yeah. So what always gets me is when you see like the car pull up and stop, and then the cyclist comes into sight and goes over them, because it's like, how unaware of your surroundings are you? Because like a car is pretty difficult to not see on the road. I just really like being a driver myself, I really hate cyclists. Yeah. Like they'll be sitting, they'll like when you're going on like back roads especially, like they'll like sit in like four in a line and you can't go around them. No. And I'm like, can you just pull in so I can go around? You're just holding up my day. Yeah. Just because you want to do the Tour de France in the UK. Like it's so you just annoying. Want to be inconvenient for no reason. Like just wait until you do these proper events where they're like gated off and stuff. Well, exactly. Like, going down the road, it's annoying. It's in my way. Get out of my way, or I'm gonna just go past and like open my door and you're gonna go flying into the bush. Like I really like. You might be a cyclist, but please, can you just get out of my way? Be a cyclist, just don't be obnoxious. I know. I don't know. I just like I keep seeing it a lot recently. It's just crashes all the time, and I'm like, it just can be avoided. Yeah, a lot of it just can be avoided. So much unnecessary. Like so it just annoys me, and like they have like right of way as well. You know. Yeah. Like, they don't pay road tax or anything. No. And like if you hit them, even if it's their fault, you're getting done because they're like priority over you. What? They don't even pay road tax, and they just go down the road and they get in your way. Yeah, it's the ones that so you know when they drive alongside like the side of the road whilst the cars are on the road. Yeah, but they're not fully off to the side; they're somewhat in the middle, centered, and it's like you can't go around them because you've got oncoming traffic. So you're just stuck behind them, and they're only going like 15 miles an hour. That's what I'm saying about the whole like when they like do that, like you said. Yeah. They're in like a group of 4, and they're all across the road. Yeah. And I'm like, just how inconsiderate do you have to be? It's like, do you want me to run you down? Yeah. I will sit here and like, honk my horn until you fall off. Like yeah, you like that. That's what I mean. They're just asking for it. Like it's crashes, and you're asking for it. Like that cyclist Mike. Why are you going round the roundabout? Yeah. Like you're a car. Yeah. Huh? So I mean, there's some guy on Twitter who a lot of people are just taking the mick out of it. I'm pretty certain he's deleted his account because he would just constantly post clips of when he was out cycling, and it was like he would start arguments with people just for the sake of it. For the sake of it, it'd be like a pedestrian crossing, the zebra crossing, and he'd be sat there shouting at them about how they shouldn't be crossing the road at this time and da 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 da. And it's like, you are just doing this, like you're bringing this upon yourself. That follows me on to. I've seen that guy. I remember it's Cyclist Mike as well, but there's that guy, and he's in London. And like, if this is not Cyclist Mike, I am sorry. You were just catching all the flack. Yeah, sorry. There's people, right, like sitting there, like in traffic. They're stationary. Yeah. And they're sitting on their phone, and a guy like taps on the window, and he's like, "I'm gonna get you done for the police because of that, because you're sitting on your phone in traffic. You shouldn't be driving whilst you're on your phone. But you're not driving. You're stationary. No, you're stationary. Like." I understand don't be on your phone when you drive, but also you are not the police, so chill out. Do you not have anything better to do with your life? That is what I think about. It's like does this actually bring you enjoy? Like, do you feel fulfilled in your life because of this? If I am in traffic and I'm stationary and I'm sitting there on my phone, don't get me wrong, I never really
No.
go on my phone whilst I'm driving because it's just dangerous.
Yeah.
But like if I'm sitting in traffic stationary and there's a lot of traffic, I might check my phone.
Yeah.
But I'm not hurting anyone.
No.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, just get a life.
Yeah.
Stop fucking trying to tell people.
Yeah.
And to not do things when they're not hurting anyone.
Yeah. If I start finding fulfillment in pedantic little things like that, put me down.
Yeah, literally.
Because
like you're just like, it's like Karens.
Yeah.
It's like, am I affecting you? No.
No.
Go away then.
Exactly. It's like what joy are you getting out of this?
Getting joy out of
weird
like,
behaviour.
Giving people crap. Basically.
Yeah. Weird behaviour.
That is the end of this episode of the TST. We hope you've enjoyed. Please like, subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next one.
Yes. Enjoy your week. Have fun. Don't be a dickhead cyclist.
Yeah, basically. Right, peace.
Bye.